Alright, so I had a few problems with the International. It's been getting hot. It's not all the time, it's usually when it's only like 90 degrees outside or hotter than that. Won't be such a big deal now that it's cooling off, but usually I'd kick it at 180 and it was fine, but when it's hot out, it just slowly creeps. And I'm assuming that that's 200, that extra line, so when I get up to 200, I shut it off. I had to shut it off like 4 times now to get home, and so that kind of sucks. So I looked in the radiator, and it was a rust bath. It just, like, the coolant looked green, but the actual inside of the radiator, oh, it's bad. Like just a rust ball. So I started flushing it, which sort of worked. There's a lot of junk that came out, but all the hoses are really crispy. All these heater hoses that are up here, super crispy, really hard. And so I decided I needed to flush it, change some hoses. I want this thing to be reliable, so and then this hose down here, oh, this is the crossover pipe hose, and it's so full of oil it was like coming apart. So when I took that off, I put this plug in. So it's a plastic plug, and the 90 comes out of the radiator, and then filled the radiator up with this stuff. It's a gallon jug of this Evapo Rust. I only did the radiator because I wasn't sure if it hurt anything in the engine. So I put a gallon of this, filled it full of water. I'm going to let it set overnight. Then flush it out again tomorrow and see if more crap comes out. I think even if it's a decent amount of junk, it should be better than not overheat. At least not overheat as much. The other thing is I'm trying to get the heater working. So if anybody knows a company that repops any of the heater components for these, that'd be great. Let me know. I don't think anything in this panel works or hooked up. I think the cable's stuck. I really just want a heater for defrost. I don't need it to get warm in here, per se. I just need the windshield to be able to get clear. If I had to put it on a toggle switch, that's fine. I'm going to try to flush the heater core while I have everything apart. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll put that Evapo Rust in the heater core overnight, flush it. And then hopefully that'll fix all that. And then the other thing, let's go, we gotta go over here now. I drove a couple hours and went and picked this up. So complete set of 8V71 JAKES, Jake spacers, and some N70s. I'm gonna see. So 671 valve cover spacers are kind of hard to come by, and the tall valve cover is really hard to come by. So I'm gonna see if I can have these cut, or I'm gonna cut them and have a friend weld them back together. So I'll make a 671 valve cover spacer out of the two 8V71s, hopefully. But everything's in good shape, and it was only $400 for all that, and it ran. So hopefully the injectors are good. They give me a little bit more fuel. I think 70s would be plenty. I don't want it to smoke too much, just a little bit. It runs really clean right now, so it should be about right. So anyways, I'm gonna get all this done, and then tomorrow come out and we'll hopefully get a video of all the crap that comes out of the radiator. So hold on. Alright, so after I filled the radiator with that Evapo Rust stuff, I filled both sides because it's like 2 different tanks. And I filled both sides up, and I flushed one side at a time. You can see that here. Oh, get out of my ear! Out, scrap! Out, scrap! Out, scrap! Shit. And then I flushed the other side. I flushed the heater core all the way out. I didn't fill the heater core with that Vapo Rust stuff. I just flushed it, and it seems to be flowing pretty good. So then, I'll show you this other stuff. Changed all the heater hoses, and I found a heater control valve that would work, and the cable actually works. The heater control valve works, the other one was stuck. All these hoses were just brittle and crispy, and this little hose here, this guy here, I think was actually leaking. You can see I had to cut everything off because it was so bad. So I replaced that one. I think that was my leak. I left it sitting in the shop for like a week one day, and there was like 3 or 4 drips on the bottom of the crank pulley. And I think that was the leak. I didn't see anything else that could leak. The water pump isn't on this side, and I don't think the manifold's leaking up there. And then I replaced the lower hose, and this guy here, this little hose, everything that really needed. This is the only thing I didn't replace. This one and the upper hose. Everything else new. New radiator cap, and I even cleaned the engine off some more, so it's kind of starting to turn red again instead of brown, greasy, nasty, and black. So my next order of business, I want to get the heater working and the wipers and the washers. So let's work on that today, since I kind of need those things in order to make this thing a driver. Oh, and I also took the AC pump off since I'm not using it. It makes a lot more room on this side of the engine. And then I got to get the alternator out too, because the alternator hasn't worked the whole time I've owned this truck, and I just keep charging the batteries whenever I want to drive it, because you know it just needs to start and run. It doesn't need to and run lights. So those 2 big batteries last me a long time. So let me get this some tools and stuff, and we'll see if we can figure out if the heater's gonna work here in a second. So here's the wires for the blower motor. I'll pull these apart. Maybe the blower motor's good, maybe it's not. We'll see. Amazon Power Probe. Only the best. Actually seems to work okay. Works. That's pretty impressive. Hey, blows air. Not bad. Alright. As long as it blows out the defroster like it does, that's fine with me. Alright, so at least the blower motor works. Now, we can pull apart all this junk over here and see why the switch don't work. It doesn't feel like it's hooked in anything, so just yank this off. And I want to figure out the wipers and the washers too, so maybe I can figure that out while I'm here. Ditch this radio. There's no reason to have a radio in this truck, obviously. Alright, I had to cut that video short because the passenger seat squeaks really bad, and for me moving around in it, that's all you heard in the video is the squeaky seat. But anyways, I got this thing out. Yeah, the back of the switch is still on the plug. It's all ripped out of the back, so that's why the switch doesn't work. The cables, I think this cable is actually free. Oh, that one actually might work a little bit. This is the one. This is for the heater control valve, and I know that one works. It looks like this one's the only one that's frozen, which I don't care. If it's stuck on defrost, I'm cool with that. I aired the truck up. You can see it's fire it up. I just use the air compressor because I am a little bit nice to my neighbors, and I don't start this thing unless I absolutely have to, or I'm going to go drive it. I don't subject them to starting and turning this thing off all the time. And so I don't want to make them mad. They're nice people. So I heard it out, but I don't have any wipers. So much that kind of sucks. So I got to figure out, start digging into why there's no wipers. I was kind of surprised I had air wipers. I thought these had electric wipers, but they don't. Put washer fluid in it. I think the washer pump works. Yeah, washer pump even works. It squirts up onto the windshield on the passenger side. Driver's side, not so much. Oh, I can see the leak. So, just needs a couple of hoses and that'll probably work. Anyways, a few other things I need to do other than get this. I'm going to see if I can find that switch. Like I said, if I can't find the correct switch for this, it's an INDAC. I cleaned it off. You can see, it says INDAC on it, but if I can't find that exact switch, I'll just get a rotary switch that has a 3-wire plug, or I'll change the plug or something, and we'll get that going. And then the heater should work. A couple of things I need to do is I filled it full of coolant. I ran the truck for a while. Still has a lot of floaties in it, so I'm going to get a coolant bypass filter, I think, and plug that in, because this does not have a coolant filter. It used to have this heater, but this thing's so full of rust, I unplugged it, bypassed it. But there's a plug right here on this radiator hose, which is in a terrible spot, but it'll work. And I think I can go back up here to the heater hoses, splice in, run a hose, maybe put the filter up in here somewhere, and then hopefully that'll get off all the junk that's in the coolant system. So anyways, that's it for the day. I'll work on this wiper situation, see what I can find, see if I can find some switches, and we'll get that heater working. Anyways, thanks for watching.